What is shaking? It's your boy, Mark Cordone, episode 19. You cannot cancel me anymore. You know why? Because I produce my own show. It's episode 19 of the Golden Microphone. We have a very, very, very special guest today, not only to the world, but to me personally. This is the guy that got it all going for me, my mentor coach, Jeff St Laurent. We're going to be talking about heartfelt entrepreneurship. But before we go in there, I want to talk to you about this book here. The cover already got ripped off because I've been reading it so much. It's called Uncovering the Life of Your Dreams. Both Jeff and I know this guy. His name is Bruce D. Schneider. He's the founder of iPEC Coaching. And I mean, if you at all are the type of person that's asking the world right now, yo, there's got to be something more to this. This guy wrote an amazing book on it. Now, here's the deal. You can go to Barnes & Noble and get it for $25. You can go all the way up to Canada and get it for $30. Or you can join my Beyond Resilient Facebook group and pick it up at no charge. Just join the group. Now, if you want, you can donate $1 or $2, and we can really get this book out there to some folks who may not be able to afford a $25 book right now, but could use the knowledge. So with that said, my name is Mark Cordone. I am a positive psychology coach. What is a positive psychology coach? Well, simply put, I get you to feel good and function optimally. That's where fulfillment happens. Feeling good and functioning optimally. So if you're feeling good and functioning well right now, can you give me a big old heart? Can you give me and Jeff a big old heart? Jeff, can you give me a big old heart, brother?
Oh yeah, man. Come on.
If it's Wednesday, so you might be feeling the grind right now. You might be feeling a little bit tired. You're not feeling so good. You're not functioning like you usually do. It's okay to have those days, y'all. Just give me a thumbs up. Let me know you're alive. That's all that matters on days like these. Give me a thumbs up. Now, I don't know if you've seen this one, Jeff. I'm going to make you do it. Now, if you're feeling optimistic about the future, regardless of whether you're having an amazing day or not, give me a big old wow face. Jeff, can you give me
that good?
I just got my coach to give me a wow face. Fantastic.
Yeah, this is how you do wow, man.
Is that how you do it?
Yeah.
Okay, so we just did a wow face. Alexandra, Johnny B, Sophia. Let's see here. There's 2 Johns in here. Alexandra gave us a wow face. It is good to see y'all here. So we're just going to jump right into it. Jeff, what's your story, bro?
Dude, my story from where man, I'll tell you, I came from a place of, I won't take you back that far, but, I'd say, high school where I was, if we're going back to that place, I was a place where I was overweight and I had a really poor self-esteem. I didn't believe much in myself or my abilities. I didn't really think of myself that I would have abilities. I don't know if I used that word when I was in high school, And I remember going to college, and I was so excited to go to college because no one knew me.
Yeah.
And it was like they didn't know that I was labeled a certain way. And I wasn't labeled. I mean, I look back at it now and I'm like, well, I wasn't really fat. I wasn't obese. I was chubby, but I wasn't and I wasn't unpopular. I had plenty of good friends, but it is when it's in your head.
Yep.
And you don't feel that way. So, but regardless, it's our own perception of ourselves It's our reality. And that's truth, is our reality. So, but I went to college and I'm like, it felt like a fresh start, and in college, really what began to shift everything for me was health and fitness. I began working out. There was a challenge. This is I don't know if you know this. I actually wrote this in my book, but a challenge. It was in college, and we're just, dorm room, 3 of us guys, a couple girls were hanging out, and no drinking involved at that time, but it was just hanging out and quite innocent when I went to college. No, but either way, we're hanging out in the dorm room, and I forget who it was, but they challenged us to a push-up contest, right? And I'm like,
push-up contest.
A what? Yeah.
A push-up contest.
Exactly. So I'm like, I never push up, but they were tricep push-ups. So it was like your hands are close, so they're a lot more challenging than a regular push-up where your hands are wide. So I'm like, oh man, I'm freaking out because there's girls in there, and of course I want to impress the girls, but not with my abilities, right? So the one guy's like, he does like 40, another one does like 30, another one does 25. I get up there and I got like 3.5 before I fell to the floor. So talk about like ego, right?
Beast mode engaged, says Johnny B.
So I'm like, I'm embarrassed, right? So one of my friends goes, he pulls me aside afterwards. He's like, dude, I'm going to the gym tomorrow. If you want to join me, come on in, right? Yeah. So let me a little hint. But the point is I went to the gym the next day, and it was just like I started working out, and it was that thing that really started to shift me in a physical way, right? But I also became amazed at the body and its transformation. So not only with that the path that one really event set me on was not only like a personal transformation, right? But more importantly, it really began down the path of falling in love with the human body and that it's adaptable. And so through that, I shifted my major to exercise science, exercise physiology, studied human movement. And I ended up in the fitness industry for a long time before I actually even became a coach. But from there, I had a physical transformation. But what I realized is that even though the external had changed, so I went from like doughy and soft to like now I had a 6-pack and I had arms and shoulders and a chest. So now I'm playing basketball and we play skins, as you call it, right? Where you just play with your shirt off. Shirts and skins, yes. And I'm not afraid to take my shirt off, right? And now guys are respecting me, right? Now I've got ladies like actually giving me attention, right? Yeah. But what I hadn't changed is on the inside and my perception of myself and how I thought of myself, even though the physical had changed. And so that began a quest, if you will, of the personal development side, the mindset side, the inner work, if you will. And that's where I started to understand myself, call it over the next 20 years, to date, which that never stops, right? But that brought me up, that really, if you really want to go back, that brought me on my journey to where I am today.
Yeah. So Jeff, what was the spark when it came to, okay, here I am, like total beast mode, right? Is this how you make the muscles,
sure,
right? Like, what on the inside was like, I need to, not need to, but there's some exploration I need to do. Was that a conscious thing, or was that something where was there someone who told you like, yo, get your head straight? Like, what was going on there?
I had an opportunity in the fitness industry to work at Nike World Headquarters. So I stopped my business, moved out there, did that for a year, came back home. People I had worked with kind of fell off the wagon, so to speak, right? All my personal training clients. And there was something that was missing in there for me, thinking like, you know what, these people can't need me to sustain this change. And so I started understanding more about like human behavior and mindset. And I'll call it personal development. And as I started discovering that's when I started realizing that, I'd done some inner work, but not knowingly prior to that. But that's when I started realizing, the inner work within myself. And wow, if I change my thoughts, I can change how I feel. And if I change how I feel, I can change, the reactions from there. And if I can change my behavior and my perceptions, I could change my results in my world. And I'm responsible. It's not the circumstances. Sure. Not because the economy sucks. It's because I suck.
Right. Okay.
So if I change that perspective, it doesn't matter what the economy's doing. It's what's my economy. I can change things.
So what's your definition of mindset? Because that's such a widely used word nowadays.
Yeah. Just speaking from the heart, I would just say it's just our perception of ourselves and the way we think, the way we choose to think.
Right on. And we can choose the way that we think, right?
That's the greatest thing about anything is you name the worst situation that you could face, and there's a million of them, circumstantially anyways, right? And at the end of the day, it's how we perceive that and how we choose to perceive it.
Okay.
And if we don't like it, well, then what's another way of looking at that? because I guarantee you there's someone else out there sometime, past, present, or future, that could look at that same situation and go, oh my God, you're so lucky. But yeah, you're there going, this sucks.
Totally.
Right.
So let me throw this out there. You make it very clear that you're heart-centered in your approach to things.
Yeah.
Right. What do you mean by that? Heart-centered entrepreneurship.
Yeah. It's simple. It's authenticity. It's congruency from the inside out. So there's the inner and the outer, if you will. And when we're congruent with our message, with what we speak of, with who we are, and we found our voice. And if you're in that, early entrepreneurship, I don't know if you can have your voice yet, right? Because you're just starting off. But that's congruency. It's accepting that I'm just starting off and I don't know what my voice is, but I don't care. I'm just going to speak what I feel. And like that's what you do so well, Mark, right? It's just like, doesn't matter where you are. It's like you speak how you feel, you come across like that, and it's you. And oftentimes when we start off, that's the most challenging thing we can do. But just to summarize that piece is it's being authentic and never deviating from that, no matter how hard it gets, no matter what approval or disapproval we get. And that is when you really start to begin to attract the true fans as your audience. Because as an entrepreneur, as I say, Mark, when I work with people, it's like, we've got to build that audience. Yeah. And how do we begin to attract an audience? It's like, well, we be ourselves. Some people are going to love us, right?
Yeah.
But some people are going to look at the two of us freaks and go like, no, they're too much for me, right? They're too much. Yeah. That's fine. They're going to go find someone else that they're going to be attracted to.
Yeah, I remember when I was growing my either my Facebook tribe or my list, and there was like 10 people that jumped off in 1 week, and I was like, dude, what did I do wrong? Like, people are jumping off my list, and you were like, you did nothing wrong, man. You probably were the most real you've ever been, and people get to decide whether they want to interact with that or not. But like the more authentic you are, the more the more people resonate with it or don't resonate with it. And they have the worst thing is that someone has no opinion on you.
Yeah.
They can be totally repulsed by you, but at least they made a decision about you. Yeah. So you work with a lot of people who are finding their voice nowadays when it comes to speaking from the heart. Like, what kind of tips do you have for folks? Because, I mean, I think back to when we first started talking, man, you were slapping me around and doing all this.
Yeah, you know what?
You know what I mean? But like, what kind of tips do you have?
Yeah, you know what? I'll give you tips. There are no tips. This is what I'm going to keep it real, right? People give me the tips and the strategies and the secrets, and I'm like, there's no tips, there's no strategies, there's no secrets. You know what it is? You've got to do what we're doing here. You got to get your phone, and you've got to go to Facebook Live, and you've got to turn it on, and if you need to put a diaper on, you need to put a diaper on. And you know what I'm saying? And I'm not being harsh. I'm not being an ass. I'm just being real, right? And like at some point, you've got to do that. And you've got to recognize that, you know what, maybe it's going to suck. Maybe you're not going to know what to say. Maybe you're going to get on and freak out and go, oh my God, I'm live. And then you know what you do? You shut it off and you hit delete. Right? And so call these tips, call these whatever you want. But at the end of the day, like the first, and this is where I like with entrepreneurship, like there's a certain point where you can't coddle yourself anymore. Because that's like an entrepreneurship. It's like, if you're going to call yourself an entrepreneur, you've got to put on the suit. Yeah. Right. And I'm not talking the suit. Yeah. I'm talking like the battle suit that you go out there. And really, entrepreneurship, the only battle suit you have is you're buck naked, because you're exposing yourself. And that's what authenticity is. And it's the willingness to expose your heart or your truth or your message for whatever it is, even if it's unrefined, unpolished, ignorant, you label it, and that's ignorance on a bad thing, right? Yeah. Message or young message or whatever it is, it's your message, and that's helpful and it's valuable.
Yep. Yeah, I think too. I was a part of a group that you were in, and you specifically called me out in that group because it had to do with getting on live, and you were like, "Get your ass on live, man!" And I was like, "But my perfect camera is not finished yet. Like, I've been building this perfect camera. You don't understand." And you're like, "No, it's an excuse." But I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. And like, I think towards the end of it, like you said something along the lines of, you know what you need to say, just turn it to 11. And that's all I've been doing is turning up that mark to 11 with these shows. And I have you to thank for it. I'm putting in the show notes how to get in touch with Jeff, sellingcoaching.com. There's over 100 classes up in there. You've got all these resources. They're all in the show notes. I know you got a client coming up at 12 or at noon Eastern Standard Time. So if you're watching the replay, give us some hearts. If you're watching live, like it. Get in touch with Jeff. But Jeff, here's why it's called the Golden Mike Live, baby. I want you to imagine a golden mic is coming down from the ceiling. That's right. Catch it with both hands.
I see it coming.
Do you see it?
Yeah.
And that golden mic translates into every language across the world for 2 minutes. What is it that you have to say in it now?
Very easily is learn how to trust yourself and who you are, and understand how you operate as a human being, as a unique human being. And when you learn how you operate as a unique human being without judgment in terms of right or wrong or good or bad, but just this is how I operate. And then you take how you operate and you harness that and accept it first and harness it and learn how to utilize those as strengths. Then in the battlefield of entrepreneurship, they become these powerful weapons that create results. And that only comes from that first part of trusting and believing within yourself enough to say, like, okay, what I first maybe previously had judged as bad because I wait till the last minute is now such a powerful thing, because when I wait till the last minute, I get things done and I can focus like nobody else. And you've just turned a stumbling block into this huge stepping stone.
Jeff St Laurent, you've said enough, son. The golden mic is off.
Push it out of the way.
Thank you. I could talk to you for hours, brother. And of course, I've got mad love for what you've been able to do to turn me up to 11 and maybe 12 in the next quarter. Let's talk some more.
15.
We're going 15. Let's give it up for Jeff. Like him, love him, want some more of him. We'll see you soon. Golden Microphone Live. I'm Mark. This is Jeff.
Awesome,
see y'all.
Bye.